The views and opinions expressed on Beautiful Disasters are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their sponsors, or anyone else involved. Also, there is going to be a lot of adult language used on this podcast, so please keep your little kitties away.
Welcome back to Beautiful Disasters. We got a great flick for you guys today.
Oh, yeah.
We have found ourselves, once again, actually, in the current day.
What's happening here?
I don't even know. Like, is this going to be a trend?
I don't know. Are we just not going to acknowledge the 70s or 80s or 90s? Or
like,
I don't know.
That's my forte.
That's of today.
Yeah.
That is legitimately like 90% of my film collection is old school genre flicks.
But we also have plenty of time to cover all of that. It's fun to cover a couple newer movies.
And we have been, and I really appreciate some of the ones that we've done recently, and this is no exception.
Isn't it important to cover things that have come out recently? Because I think that people should know that being a disaster is timeless.
That is a great way to say that, actually. Mm-hmm. Because, yes, genre cinema, stupid B-movies are not relegated to the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Nope.
And we have a resurgence right now of fantastic genre cinema happening right now.
Absolutely.
And we are on it as best we can.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. So we are reacting, and
go on.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying. In any case, let's introduce the panel. I am the Grutz.
F.U. Hunter.
And our guest today is...
Murphy.
You
let me back.
Well, we let you back, but also the movie we're reviewing tonight was pretty much brought up by you.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember the trailer, but you were so excited.
Oh my god, but it was so good. Seeing this in the theater was just bananas. I spit out my popcorn.
There was an amazing domino effect with this movie where you saw this in the theater. You said it was a rental that you had access to being able to see this movie in the theater.
Yeah.
You, unfortunately, both Grutz and myself could not make it that night.
I know.
Grutz then watched it, the day after that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, holy fuck, I love this movie. And then messaged me with that. And then I watched it the next day. So it was the Murphy domino effect of, holy fuck, this movie is fucking awesome.
Which I will say, I am jealous that you got to see it on the big screen.
Hey, man. One of our local theaters, Bowtie, is doing this thing where you can rent the whole theater because it's a maximum of 10 people, so y'all can distance. Yeah. But you can rent the whole theater and just do it ahead of time, so that way it's people you know and not randos, so you can stay a little safer.
Yep. And I had the pleasure of seeing John Carpenter's The Thing with you.
Yes.
You were so nice to invite me into your friend's party.
I'm still looking at my phone for that text message.
Must be lost. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, man, that was good.
All right.
But you're still my special friend.
Let's move on. I know. Whatever. Let's move on. Let's talk about the movie and not be invited to one of their favorite Carpenter movies of all time. So anyhow, go ahead.
So yes, we are reviewing today Psycho Goreman.
Yes.
Also known as PG, so I think this is the first PG film you've had on here.
I mean, if you're being technical, but it's...
Actually, it's technically an unrated film, but it's directly a play on the rating system,
That's
so I
right.
figured I'd use it.
I will say that this movie basically plays as a PG-13 movie, at most.
So technically, yes, but with the excessive amounts of gore, which I am thrilled about, it actually would carry it over into, like, R or NC-17, but that's why they left it unrated.
No, I don't think so.
In the interviews I read, that's what they were going to have to rate it.
I think it plays...
So they just
I would say this. I think it plays like a PG movie in the 80s. Where
Yes.
a lot of the shit in those PG 80s movies, no fucking way you get away with it now.
Right, but it followed the PG-13 rules of use fuck only once, and then for the rest of it you have to be creative, and then, there's just buckets of blood.
There's no sexual content, basically, in the entire movie.
For you.
Wow.
Someone doesn't like Hunky Man.
Hunky boys.
Yeah.
Hunky boys.
My hunky boys! Yes, I got to be the first one to scream that, and you have no idea how pleased I am.
That's amazing. No, legitimately, there's really no cursing in the movie. They use frick most of the time. There is some gore, but it's so cartoonish and it's like practical effect. Like there's horror. There's definitely horror in the movie that's disturbing. Like there's some Lovecraftian like insanity bullshit going on, but like
I mean,
overall, it's not nasty gore.
It is cartoony gore, but there are some elements that I think we'll end up discussing a little bit later where I do think it rides that line pretty heavily.
It does.
Zombie cop.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the I guess the goon that gets tortured for a while too. That's
he's fine.
But I guess, and this will go back to the 80s
He's a
PG movies.
masterpiece.
Reminder to everybody, Temple of Doom is a PG movie, okay?
Really?
Yep. This movie is at the same level as Temple of Doom. Yeah. So...
But yes, Temple of Doom and Gremlins were pretty much the two big budget movies that created the PG-13 rating. They kind of directly led to that because they're both rated PG.
Yeah.
And
I would definitely throw Poltergeist in with that crowd.
And Poltergeist has a scene with the dude ripping his face off, for the
kids
PG
need to
movie.
know about practical effects.
And the danger of fried chicken? Is that...
And not to leave steak out on the counter, and if you mysteriously slide across the kitchen floor, don't fucking do it.
However, yes. No, this movie was kind of a kid's movie. I honestly think this could go up alongside Monster Squad or something like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's centered around a bunch of kid protagonists, a brother and a sister, and a very unfortunate friend. We'll talk about him later.
Oh, Alistair.
Alistair. But anyway, let's get into Psycho Goreman.
All right. So can I say right off the bat? So at the beginning of this film, we are treated to the pre-story credits, where we are told of the destruction of this creature. But it talks about him being from the planet Gygax, and can I tell you that is the first moment that I spit out my popcorn laughing for the D&D nerd in my heart?
That's the first thing I thought. Was like, well, that's obviously the reference.
Yep.
It's got to be the Gary Gygax reference.
Yep.
The planet Gygax.
Yes, Gygaxian.
Oh my god.
Delightful. But when that first spiel started, I was just like, oh, I am so ready.
I like a little voiceover, narration to set the sequence,
Yeah.
Especially because you want to build up like a serious tone and then just tear it apart as you get into that movie. And that's kind of what this movie did.
Well, I think the beginning of it really rode that line where it was obviously a tongue-in-cheek, where it's just like, oh, we're going full bore into this.
Oh yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah. No, there is not a moment of this movie that I don't adore entirely. It was so well put together front to back. So, all right. So, yes, we have the voiceover. Sets the scene about this villain. This, galactic villain.
The absolute evil of the galaxy.
Absolute evil, blah, blah, blah. We don't get a name at this point.
No. Well, he doesn't have a name. He's the Archduke of Nightmares, I think he refers to himself as a little later.
Yes, he does refer to himself.
Yeah, but this nameless evil that's been imprisoned in an unknown place, for if he were to ever be awoken, it would clearly spell doom for the universe.
And immediately after this voiceover, we go into a game of Crazy Ball.
Yep.
And it turns out this is a brother and sister playing a pseudo dodgeball-esque game that they have created on their own.
Mimi has created.
Mimi has, yes. Mimi.
Her brother, who is apparently understood the rules enough to play with her, since there is a plethora of rules with this game.
There are a lot.
Rules are important. It's like this movie's version of Calvin Ball.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. This is a game that children created and made up, and it seems perfectly logical, but it's anything but. And Mimi is the younger sister to Luke, who is kind of like the meek older brother. And they're playing this game, and it is an action sequence.
Yeah, it's shot
out the gate.
Shot very much in the style, they talked about it being shot in the style of 80s commercials for any sort of outdoor game.
Yeah, Nerf guns and stuff like that. I felt like I was waiting for them to have Nerf guns. To be like, you're going down, bro. Like,
yeah, the slow motion dives, all that. But really, I think that's like, they just really utilize what goes through a kid's brain when they're like, oh, I look so fucking sweet. And then it zooms out to the mom's point of view where they're just like, crazy ball, spin, crazy ball.
There are several moments that are very much 80s and early 90s commercial moments in this movie, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess it's her game, and Mimi wins the game.
And what's on the line?
Apparently, her brother digging a giant hole in the ground.
Her brother digging his own grave.
Oh,
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, the stakes are really fucking high in this game. And can we just give props to how how good the brother is at digging?
Yeah.
Because for a child, what's his age?
He's got to be like 12 or something.
10, 12,
But man, he's a hell of a digger, because they cut to him starting to dig, and you blink, and then he's got one of the most impressive fucking holes I've seen for a 12-year-old to dig ever. I mean, like, that thing is deep and shit. Yeah.
I'm not digging that much.
I couldn't dig that shit.
No.
Hell no. But they dig deep enough in their backyard to unearth a crazy
ancient evil.
It's like a friggin' rune. It's a gem.
Well, it's his casket essentially, and the gem of Paraxodike is embedded on the front of this. I didn't take notes, but I've seen it twice and I loved it. I have very few notes this time, so I'm uncomfortable. But yeah, the gem is embedded in what this council says is an unbreakable code. But
some kind of a mystic lock situation.
Yeah.
Which Mimi goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and unlocks.
Yeah, it's just like sweet.
She
first time.
I think she did the Simon Says game pattern or something for a second.
Pretty much.
Where it was like 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, and just instantly unlocks this fucking
Which is not a reference she would ever get.
Yeah.
And maybe not even her parents. Who knows? But yes, she unlocks the things, and then
nothing happens.
Then mom's like, "Come back inside." Blah blah blah. They go to bed. In the middle of the night, they do have kind of like a little knock knock language game situation that they got going on.
Yeah, sort of like a Morse code type thing.
Yeah, where they're talking through knocks.
Which I love. Then the mom pipes in with the go to bed knock.
Go to bed knock.
My favorite moment of that is when Luke asked, "Do you think we woke up Grandma?" And she said, "I told you, Grandma's in hell."
And it's that kind of little bits of already we have the brother having to dig his own grave,
right?
And then Grandma's in hell, just little bits. There's something very interesting about Mimi. Let's just say that.
Well, this also comes after of course, the kids are being tucked into bed. It's very sweet. But, of course, Luke is Luke asks the question, are there monsters? And the dad is like, well, I guess humanity is the real monster. And the mom is like, by that we mean no. And then Mimi asks about monsters. And it's just like, well, if there are monsters, make sure they kill Luke first. They're like, that's not appropriate. She's like, oh.
So then I guess we go into while they're asleep, then we cut to this factory. What's the
shoe factory?
Yes.
Shoe factory.
Yeah.
And you're blatantly obvious bad guys who just robbed.
It's a bunch of hoodlum punks that have we killed somebody tonight.
Yeah.
We robbed these old people. Look at this nice frame.
And as most bad guys do, they just sit around, look at their shit, and hype each other up about how they killed somebody and stuff. And in rolls in
Psycho Goreman.
Yeah.
Well, before he's named.
Yeah.
But he is a hulking figure. Looks like a golem, basically.
Yes.
He's got weird, sort of glowy, veiny things. He looks like a demon.
He looks like a djinn. He looks like a really pumped up djinn.
Yeah.
I would say he sort of looks like, the best way to describe it is the main creature in Jeepers Creepers in a way. Just kind of that hulking with dark skin, kind of scaly.
He wasn't that big. Also,
That's
I don't want to give that much
exactly-
credit to the Jeepers Creepers guy.
That's exactly what Jesse said. He was
Okay.
like, yeah.
That's just the
looked
way I
like the
put it.
dude
Not
from
exact.
Jeepers Creepers.
I thought he looked like Mr. Perfect from Guar.
Okay.
The GUI villain. Yeah.
Maybe
there
he
you
mixed them together, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's definitely he's probably like 6-7 feet. Like, he's a big dude.
Honestly,
right?
I think what they did is they opened up the monster manual because they're big Gygax fans and obviously a bunch of fucking nerds. And they looked and they were like, show me the demons. And so they were like, a chain demon and a djinn. All right.
Show me the demons.
Right. The less popular version of Show Me the Money.
I remember Tom Cruise was like, show me the demons.
Yeah, no, that was the last thing he ever said.
And then he burned in hell.
Indeed.
Like Grandma.
So yeah, he rolls into this abandoned warehouse where all these like criminal punk assholes are. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, what the fuck are you supposed to be? And he basically dispatches all of them except for the leader immediately.
Well, the leader makes the accident of saying, don't kill me.
Please don't kill me.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Which he goes, I will give you what you want, but and he spouts out this like very cryptic, like, you will beg for death after I'm done with you, and then it goes to black, and we're like, all right, well,
All right.
I guess we'll find out later on.
Sounds good. So, cut to the next day, and the kids, they see the hole, and they're like, okay, what's going on? And they end up tracking.
The parents also see the hole.
Yeah,
They
because
do.
the dad's pretty impressed. I mean, they're like, oh, this is not good, but dad's like, wow, like, like.
That's like, I'm not happy,
The
but I am
dad
impressed.
is very much positive reinforcement throughout most of this movie.
Dad?
He's all right. He has weird, awkward moments of sort of lessons, but the worst lessons a dad could give. I don't know.
He's kind of like if the dude from The Big Lebowski was actually a parent.
Oh no!
He's all right.
That's mean.
Yeah, that's probably. Or if you took like Dan DeVito's character from Sunny and giving advice as like a younger dad, because it's all just weird, doesn't make any sense, and usually wrong. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get into like his marriage later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
there's clearly some
damn.
issues.
Yeah. No, he's a whole situation. But yeah, no, they see the hole, and like the kids end up tracking the trail, and they end up at this warehouse, and they find Psycho Goreman prior to naming him. Which, yeah. But obviously they're terrified for a second.
Oh, then I think that's when they look over as he's coming out. Is when they discover.
That's when they see the wall of blood and body parts.
Which is amazing. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
he has made kind of a design just to kind of show off his killings.
Yeah.
And then you go past that to the guy that begged to not be killed, and Psycho Goreman has given him his wish, in which he is, I guess, like in this like contortion kind of way, and his eyeballs are like rolling over and over in his head, and he's in constant like Hellraiser style torture.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And let's see. As soon as he meets them, he uses his powers to immobilize the younger brother, Luke. However, Mimi tells him to stop.
Well, so Luke realizes that her pocket is glowing, and she's got the gem in her pocket.
Yes.
So he's in the middle of his, like, fucking speech of, I will make you suffer, and blah, blah, and then she's,
Destroyer of all worlds.
is this yours? The gem of peroxide. Shut up. And then he has to just...
And it's instant. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's not a suggestion.
No.
Whoever controls that gem.
controls him.
Yep.
And he says something in effect like, no man has power over me. And she says, I'm not a man. I'm a woman. And you're going to let go of my stupid wiener bro right now.
That's right.
And Mimi realizes that the gem gives her the power to control him. And, oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't
Now-
forget
oh,
that Luke
now
also
we-
shatters his
Yeah, I was
creation.
gonna say that's what started to get angering him. As that Luke, when Psycho Goreman first shows up, walks over and accidentally bumps into the criminal that's supposed to be in constant torture.
Yes.
And as the guy falls down, and I think Psycho Goreman says he will never feel the love of death. And then he falls over and shatters. And then Psycho
Yes.
Goreman
No,
is
he
so
was
upset
my
about it. Yeah.
I have the quote.
Okay,
I
okay.
wrote this one down. He's talking about this dude that he fucked up. This is but a small example of what I'm capable of. His eternal pain takes his mind beyond the fullest reaches of madness, preserved in an endless state of... as he falls and smashes to the ground and goes splats everywhere. Oh no, he was my masterpiece.
The timing was so perfect because he's just hyping it up as Luke just backs into him and he falls down.
Man.
And like in the like the broken splattered gore, you just see a little mouth on the floor saying thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
Holy shit.
So Mimi has the gem. She's pretty much like, guess what, motherfucker? I control your shit now. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I guess, well, they got to make it back home. So she gives him instructions.
Mm-hmm. Go over there and wait for us to come back. Bye.
Yep.
And then you just hear that all the way out the door while he's threatening them.
Yeah, he's like, I will destroy, like, I'm going to do so many things to you, but he can't because maybe he's got the gem. So.
Do they give him a name before?
No, you're right. They do decide on the name because they're like, you need like a name that's like hip and wow.
That's right.
So they start like spitballing names together, and she comes up with Psycho something, and Luke says Goreman, and she's like, oh, we're so close. And then she says, oh, I've got it. You are Psycho Goreman, or PG for short.
Which I feel like PG is
PG.
It's perfect.
Yeah. PG, and that's how most movie, because he takes on, as you go with 80s kids movies, this other kind of personality, which is, I would say, like we were talking about Monster Squad, how Frankenstein's monster is kind of the, pal, protector of the group. That's what PG becomes. And so it's perfect that you give him that name.
And he parts. As they are parting, he's like, you will suffer an eternity for this. Bye.
Bye.
So then we cut to outer space.
Oh, yes.
Which, honestly, these little cutscenes in between stuff is one of my favorite things about this movie.
Yeah, it really showcases all the practical effects they got to use.
Absolutely. But it's basically kind of like the Galactic Muppet Show in a lot of ways.
I was going to throw out there, if you're a fan of Doctor Who...
If you're a fan of fucking Power Rangers, okay?
Power Rangers, Doctor Who, but I think the council
fucking
part...
Farscape.
Yeah,
Anything.
That too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the council there, it's just... It seems like all the Doctor Who characters and tons of seasons all around a round table, I would feel like his gang later on.
You know what movie did
Power
this
Rangers.
really badly? The prequel episode 3, where they had like the cadre around the table, and there was like the robot dude and the blah blah blah.
Yeah,
this is why the prequels are fucking dog shit.
Yeah,
because Psycho Goreman did it way fucking better.
With a really small
Fuck you, George
budget.
Lucas.
but we learn, I guess, who's written down the name of the race that can pretty much.
Oh,
control.
the Templars. The Templars
right.
are
The
in
Templars.
control, and the representative we have from them is named Pandora.
Yeah,
Pandora.
which she's all white and has.
She looks like a
wings.
tiny Gundam. A tiny all-white Gundam.
She looks like an angel Gundam.
Yep.
Thank you. I was about to say an angel. She's like a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Yes. No, absolutely. That's exactly what she looks like. And of course, around the table are all these representatives of different galaxies or worlds or whatever. And you've got like a reptile dude, and you've got like one that looks like some kind of like a robot thing. And my favorite is the meaty meatball skull in a jar.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my god.
With eyeballs.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious.
Yes.
And he doesn't make he's like Beaker from the Muppets.
Yeah.
He's just like and like
And of course,
covering his eyes and shit. Like,
No, he doesn't cover the eyes. The other alien was
Other
like
dude, yeah.
shielding him.
Yeah.
When Pandora smashes
Fucking
the human.
hilarious. And it's goofy, but it works so well because of the nature of this movie.
yeah.
Right.
And you get that one because it seems very, again, official at first. You had the council was like, we have made sure the galaxy is controlled by, and then you get where there's like, is there going to be anything to eat? And the banter starts, and you go, okay. So like the beginning of the movie, it starts out like your normal setup, and then it's like, nope, stop. Now let's have some fun.
Well, one of the things that I read is that they specifically took a lot of cues from Masters of the Universe in this.
All right.
And that was one of the feels that he like wanted to go for with like that intro and a bunch of other things. I really do think that he nailed that.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
Essentially the council comes to the decision that like they were too lenient by imprisoning him. Pandora has decided that death is the only option to save the galaxy and that she is going to do it herself.
Right.
So she basically grabs a human from Earth, turns them into a ball of flesh and blood, crushes them, and smears them on her face to gain the human form.
Which is so nonchalant, and where we're so used to Psycho Goreman, who just talks shit and then murders. She's very like, we will need a human. And then she pulls a human, and then the chick's like, what am I doing here? And then she just shrinks her into this cube. And
blood cube.
Splat.
It's awesome.
Splat.
Crushes her.
Yeah.
And smears them over her mouth. And then in like the breathiest sex voice goes, may the gods watch over me.
It's like those British assassins where you have like, your motherfuckers, and then you have like, yes, I will murder people too. But it's just, not very showy, and just, yes, a person's life has been extinguished.
Going back to D&D, this is the definition of why lawful good paladins can be dangerous. Because
there you go. Wow. Oh my God. So
not that I've thought about this a lot.
After that establishing scene of, basically the other side to this conflict.
Our adversaries? Question mark?
We are back in the warehouse where the kids show back up. Mm-hmm. And I believe, was it Mimi or Luke said something about like, oh, I'm sorry we left you overnight without any porn.
Yeah, that's Mimi.
And they open up a magazine with like some like shirtless dude.
That's right. Yeah, this is one of my favorite lines where she's just like, I brought you a magazine full of hunky boys. I do not care for hunky boys.
Great line.
Or do I?
Or do I? And that was the killer on the end of it. And I was like,
gosh.
yes.
That's also when they brought Alistair to meet him, right? That's when Alistair.
Yeah, because he had to help. Luke is bringing the TV, and there's two other people, but nobody else helps Luke as they go through the woods.
Luke even asks for help, and they're like, no.
Well, I think Alistair was going to help, but Mimi's like, no, stay with me. He's got it.
Mimi's got a serious crush on Alistair.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
But Luke does actually directly ask Psycho Goreman, what are you?
Yes.
And he opens into talking about his past, and he says, that is a tale bathed in the blood of 1,000,000 dead memories. And then it goes into like a flashback sequence where he was like a slave.
Yeah, and he learned to overtake the...
And he
found the gem.
He found the gem, got power, killed a bunch of paladins.
Templars.
Yeah.
And it was a whole thing.
I will say this real quick. Anybody's watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force? When he starts going into that, anybody's seen the Danzig episode where they run into, and he's like, years pass, and then it literally seemed like that. Like, just,
yes.
I'm going to go into this insane story. Just stand by and listen to all of this, all right?
And of course, yes,
right.
Alistair was with them at this point. Mm-hmm. And he's just kind of like freaked out, but also going with it. And he's kind of, there.
Well, I think this was that backstory is also interesting because it establishes the Templars as not necessarily the good guys.
Yeah.
Because they clearly have enslaved a race of people that is not their own, and multiple at that. Where like you see him like bound completely in chains, his face is covered, like all he does is dig basically. So it creates, even for this like B movie, a really interesting dichotomy of like, this guy is an asshole who's going to destroy the universe, but also, what the fuck were these guys doing? Was it really that different?
They might be the bigger assholes, because if they were
right
torturing and putting this asshole, making them a slave, doesn't that make them more of an asshole?
Blame him for rebelling.
Yeah.
Not a bit.
No. Also, can we talk about like when he finds the gem, he picks it up and he puts it in his chest, and his chest does this like cool Venus flytrap ripple thing.
Where it's like yummy, yummy.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah.
Something other than Warhammer. I don't know what. It'll come to me.
So yeah, after their interaction, Alistair speaks up and said, "It's nice meeting you.
It would be nicer if you were dead."
Okay, bye.
And then they eventually leave, and he realizes that the TV that he gives two shits about actually watching, but that it could be a device used to radio in his other homies.
Yep.
So he grabs a TV, and then blood starts coming out of it as he's reaching out to, and I guess he actually gets in contact with his, I guess, second in charge when, and he's just like, hey, get everybody together. come here and let's fuck some shit up. I just need you to get this goddamn gem away from this little girl who keeps fucking making me do shit I don't want to do.
The gem has been taken by 2 brainless meat children. You must attain the gem, even if it has to be pried from their tiny dead hands.
So he can say meat children, but when I say it, people get mad at me. That's weird.
I know. What the hell?
He has the best lines.
It really is.
Like, every line in this, like, literally, like, most of the time, I will have all my notes on one page, and I got halfway through the movie, and I'm at a page and a half, and
it's all Psycho Goreman.
Yeah, it's just all his dialogue is fucking glorious.
There was a lot of moments watching this film, because I watched it once in the theater with friends, and then the other time I had to show it to, I needed to show it to my partner, and anytime Psycho Goreman spoke or Mimi spoke, he would look over at me, and I'm like, look, you gotta pick one.
I honestly feel like, I mean, you're at advantage, because I need to watch this again. I've always seen it one time, and it's one of those movies that you absorb, you watch it the first time, but there's stuff that you want to, like, you might miss because you're reacting to something else.
There's too much good shit in this movie, is basically what it is. The next sequence is basically him showing up at their house.
Oh, that's right.
Mimi is lonely.
Mimi is lonely, and the parents encounter Psycho Goreman.
Oh, yeah.
And they're freaking the fuck out. I think
props to the mom, because she ran outside with a fucking baseball bat to try to hit this monster.
And broke it over the dude.
Yep.
And the dad is kind of useless, as he is.
Yes, yeah. Well, he hurt his hand earlier trying to shovel.
To shovel
right,
for a minute.
totally hurt his hand.
The first time he put the shovel in the ground, he hurt his hand. You know, almost instantaneously, like, hard work made him hurt his hand.
That's
well,
crazy.
you know, whatever.
And
fucking Greg.
I forget the statement that preceded this quote, but Psycho Goreman responds with, "Time is a false construct that only exists for primitive beings unable to phase into the 9th dimension. Also, I got lost."
Oh, it's because Mimi's like, what took you so long?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, again, like the Hunky Boys one, it's great because he still has, like, these things, and then, like, and I also got lost. Like, you know, like, I can't just admit to it. I'm going to have this evil fucking Dark Lord quote, and something else happens. And that happens throughout the movie. It was fucking amazing.
After the parents get freaked out, apparently Mimi confesses to Psycho Goreman that she likes Alistair, but he's kind of, like, not with her on that. Mm-hmm. And she wishes he would change.
Oh,
yeah. I can help you woo him like I helped someone woo the Moon Princess. Which I am really curious about that story based off of what happens next.
Because Psycho Goreman turns Alistair, this cute kid, into a crazy brain with like brain tentacles.
Yep.
And big
giant eyes.
Googly eyes. And I lost my shit.
And the rest of the movie, he's palling around with them, and
well, that happened before the parents came out, because remember, the mom vaults over him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, doesn't even acknowledge that there is a brain sitting in the middle of their yard.
An animated brain. No. And the fact that he is in that state for the rest of the movie, including at the dinner table with his parents later on in the movie, is fucking hilarious.
All right, well, we're talking about, this is pretty close to an 80s movie, right?
Yeah.
What haven't we had yet? Fucking montage.
A montage music number?
Yeah. And that's what we need to have next, is we cut to them at the garage. There's Mimi on the microphone.
Of course she's the lead singer, you fucking fool.
I know. Luke, fucking jamming guitar. But who's going to do the drums?
Could it be?
Goreman.
Yeah.
and I think they had Alistair, the brain with the tentacles on the keyboard.
Yeah. And it's a weird montage music video of just them doing the classic 80s, go to the clothing store to try on.
I forgot the name of their brilliant song. It's Frig Off.
Frig Off, that's right.
I thought it was Freak Yourself.
No, it's not Frig Yourself. It's Frig, because they say Frig Off, Frig You.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
But yes, we get a montage of them, trying to find out the best outfit, because you can't have a Dark Overlord just walking around. You got to get him dressed up.
Well, she got to show him off, so she took him out on the town, which involves one of my favorite fucking scenes.
Well, they took him to a diner first.
Oh, that's right.
And he shows them how he eats,
Oh my god.
which is amazing. He's a messy eater, by the way.
Well, it's amazing because again, he never changes character at all.
No.
So he takes that plate with burger fries, slams it in his face, and then after that, Fry hanging on his fucking mouth. He's like, like I would not let anybody talk to me like that, like talking like to Luke. But there's this Fry fucking hanging off of his chin. That's just
amazing.
really distracting.
But like he does this thing where his jaw distends and he just eats the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he says something to the effect of like, to be eaten is a warrior's death.
Yep.
And this definitely comes into play later.
Yep.
But yes, he is taken on the town, dressed up, and the scene that broke me and my buddy Jesse is when they're just walking down the street and some kid on a bike says, "Hey, nice Halloween costume," and he looks over there and explodes the child.
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Just blood everywhere.
I hyperventilated. I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so hard. I lost my shit. I was falling off the couch.
And that's in the middle, and it's just like, oh, crazy PG. Like it's like in the middle of the montage. It's not like the music stops and gets serious. It's like, oh, you just murdered a child. Anyway,
Let's go try on clothes.
It was like an incidental throwaway scene.
Exactly.
And it was the funniest fucking shit I have seen in a long ass time. I died a little.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
And the mom is with them while they're trying on clothes, while they're making PG try on clothes.
because that's what you have to do. You have to have the kids, and sometimes a mom reaction of like, oh, that just won't do. Oh no, what are you trying to go with, psycho?
Well,
Come
she probably
on.
felt there needed to be some actual adult supervision since there was a monster befriending her child.
Like,
Yeah.
that stops Mimi from doing anything.
The mom
in
might
this
have to
fucking
pay for the
movie.
outfit too. I mean, so.
Well, true.
I mean, he could literally just destroy whoever the
Right.
person was working the store, but I guess mom could also just bring her wallet in. Either way,
That's true.
That's no fun.
yeah.
I disapprove.
Mimi keeps him under wraps, in control.
All right, so montage over. We get to the diner is where it ends.
The diner's where it ends. Alistair's outside as the brain. And
Yeah,
this
that's
dude
right.
just walks around him.
He's just sitting outside waiting for them because I guess he can't fit in the.
Oh no, this isn't the end of the day. The end of the day is when they introduce PG and Alistair to Crazy Ball.
That's right. Okay.
That is correct.
But I was gonna say the diner scene does have where Minnie is like talking shit to Luke and
Mimi talks shit to everyone. That's how she communicates.
But you can see PG is starting to kind of work on Luke a little bit, like he
Working the angles.
picking up like, I can't convince her to give me the gem back, but maybe this brother who
Maybe
gets,
I can sow seeds of distrust between them. I can play this angle.
yeah. Because it's right after, like I was saying, he's trying to talk to him while that Fry is fucking. Yeah, I just lost my shit with that. But then we get to where then we're having them try to play Crazy Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can't remember what Psycho Goreman said, but it was just like, "This is ridiculous,"
Yep.
something to that effect.
Also, I don't understand these rules.
Yeah. Didn't he have to repeat them or something, or like?
Mimi refuses to repeat.
That's
them.
right.
Yeah, she's just like, "Oh, you should have listened the first time."
It's too bad they don't have anybody else to help play the game of that, like to play Crazy Ball. Oh wait, or do the cops fucking roll up in there?
Oh, the cops totally roll up in there because she just brought them to the basketball court at their school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the cops notice that there's this gigantic monster.
Well, the cops roll up in there because I think someone called them because there was a gigantic
There's a monster hanging out next to two kids. I guess that does work for a 911
wearing
call.
aviators, a cowboy hat, and a neckerchief. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he was in disguise.
No,
kind
he's
of.
just styling.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a disguise. He's cool.
But we get all right. In the preview episode, when we actually did Manborg,
Yes.
there's
Same
a
director, by the
trailer.
way.
Yeah, there's a trailer for
BioCop.
Now,
This is the BioCop.
this is the closest
tribute.
we're gonna get to a BioCop movie. But as the cops roll up,
Don't say that. I have hope.
PG takes one of the cops and twists him and fucks him up, where he is now just like, what would you say? Like just
He looks emaciated. Like you remember Life Force when she
exactly.
sucked the life out of someone, they kind of get shriveled and shit. He just looks like
He looks like a trauma zombie.
Yeah, like
He looks like a trauma zombie.
between
He's all
that
gooey
and
weird.
the dude after he gets hit with toxic waste in RoboCop.
Yes.
Just I want to die so bad. My whole body hurts. But now they've got another person to play Crazy Ball.
right.
And
Fuses
the other
his
cop,
gun to his hand.
yeah, fuses his gun to his hand. Other cops like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And so
Doesn't
now
he
they've
tell
got
him to run?
yeah. And so then go ahead and Mimi's like, okay, now has somebody else to explain the.
My favorite part of that moment, he's like, PG is like, run! And so the other cop runs to the car and he's like, Greg, I need the keys! And they're on your belt! And the guy is, turned into a zombie attached to his gun. Give me the key! Oh, and just runs, just takes off and leaves the cop car.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the part where I fucking lost it. Okay. I know y'all are saying it. Okay, because I've watched that BioCop trailer so many times, and the whole theme of BioCop is please fucking kill me. I am in dire need.
Why am I alive?
Yeah. So we get to where they're strolling through the woods.
Yes.
And fucking the cop has a Valentine-shaped card that he or like a paper mache thing that he hands to Mimi, and she's like, "Oh, thank you." And she opens it up, and it says, "Please kill me."
And blood.
I fucking lost it. God damn it. And he's just like, "Gah, gah."
Well, not only that, but she doesn't even acknowledge
Yeah,
that. She's like, I told you to only write me sweet things about how amazing and beautiful I am.
So she throws out, and you can just see his reaction of like, this is my only hope of someone killing me.
He even tries to shoot himself in the
He
head.
keeps trying to aim into his head and missing.
That's why I was just like, and that's why we walk the line for rated R, as the zombie keeps trying to shoot himself in the head. Good news, though, because PG's buddies show up just then.
Oh, yeah. And this
right.
is where I would say it is very much Power Rangers.
Yes.
If you were to have the most twisted fucking Power Rangers villain situation happen, because, yeah, all of PG's crew rolls up, and holy shit. I'm not sure which ones were y'all's favorite. I'm going to go with the
guy that was
tub of
like
heads.
a
tub
pot
of heads that
it was a
shoots-
pot of stew.
Yeah, that shoots out blood and just screaming heads all at the top of him. Yeah.
I kind of liked what the fuck was it?
There was
the Witch Lord?
Was that the baby face?
Yeah, the one that was clearly inspired by like Japanese horror with
yeah,
the six
exactly, yeah.
eyes and
Dude,
everything
every like stylish design factor of this movie
damn it.
is so awesome
and the
and
main
so much
guy's
fun.
name is Dark Scream.
Yes. Huh. I have
Scream.
no idea if that's a take on Starscream as the second in charge who betrays. You know. Yeah.
No, but I'm with
He
you.
almost had the voice as Starscream too, where it was that high pitched kind of like whiny voice. I think directly this is Starscream.
I'm with you on like the cauldron of gore that looked like a Warhammer 40,000 like mech
Or like
character.
Yeah.
A Krang reference.
And he was just like walking around. It was just like a big pot of like just body parts, somehow alive and
so would you
evil.
say that's a Necron sort of thing? Or sorry.
No, I don't even know, man.
But so PG sees them and they're in the woods and he's like, fucking sweet. All right,
Kill these children.
as easily as you can and fucking get that gem so we can, get back together and fuck shit up. And well, Starscream has other plans, it seems like. So
Yeah, he got sold out.
Yep.
Bummer, buddy.
Well,
we came to
because
betray you.
he assumes after he's gone that everything's going to be fucking terrible for everybody that worked for him.
Well,
it helped him.
that's when he finds out that all of his buddies are the reason he got betrayed because they made a deal with the Templars.
Yep. And things have been pretty fucking great. So when he reached out to him, that was them going, okay, cool. So yeah, we'll just fucking take him out, and then shit's great for us.
So they had two choices. They could have just not ever come over there,
Yeah.
or obviously come over there and actually kill him and continue their thing. I would have erred on the side of not even responding and
but I
not
think-
showing up,
I feel like there was incentives if they took him out because, I mean,
And missed the chance for a fill-in monologue?
Yeah.
Well, I think that they wanted the gem for themselves, right?
I don't think they necessarily cared about the gem. They just wanted him permanently gone so they could just do their
okay.
thing.
There it is.
But so pretty much at that point, they surround him, and PG's like, all right, hey, Mimi, let me fuck these people up. And she's upset with him.
Well, he was going to kill her.
Yeah. So she's like, no. She's at this point like, I'm going to make my stand and put my arms, like cross my arms, and you can just defend yourself.
Oh, no. You can stand there and let them kick the shit out of you until you apologize.
Yep.
Until you apologize for asking them to kill me.
Yep. So we get where they start fucking him up, and like each one has their own ability, which again, the Cauldron of Bodies, his power is just spray you with blood. I don't think he does anything else except just, you get beat up by these motherfuckers and I cover you with blood. Because I don't think the blood does anything.
That's
but
why
it's so awesome.
That's why he's my favorite. It's just so absurd.
It doesn't do anything.
Insane.
Just besides cover you.
Blood.
Yeah. You're going to get your ass beat by these motherfuckers, and then you're going to have to change your clothes because I'm covering you with blood. Like, there's not really any purpose to him in that group. Everybody else is like, I twist, like, the sorcerer, like, I will, and, it's just blood. That's all he has. But they're kicking his ass, and then eventually,
Eventually, he apologizes to Mimi and makes a heartfelt apology that she accepts.
Because he says, I'm sorry first. She's like, I don't believe you.
That's right. I was wrong, tiny creature.
He's being stabbed by all these creatures. He's like, I don't believe you. It needs to be sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
So eventually, he sincerely apologizes.
That's right.
And then she allows him to defend himself.
Right, with the spin and upward thrust of the gem, and go get him, PG.
And then he just fucks everybody up.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. True Psycho Goreman.
Yep.
Warrior elite.
And
whatever.
The makeup job was already amazing. And then to put on top of that, the practical effects that happens with each one of these characters in their deaths was fucking amazing. I know I keep saying fucking amazing over again because that's the reaction this movie has.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're watching it and you're like, that's badass. And you're like, okay, now we're going to see them ripped apart in different ways and killed. That's even more badass on top of the badass that I just saw. So, yeah. Psycho Goreman fucks everybody up.
And then the leader, we get the first warrior's death.
That's right. The warrior's death is very important. We brought it up when eating dinner. The warrior's death is being devoured, where he takes his mandibles, shall we call them, and essentially grows this huge pouch, opens his mouth as wide as it can go, and devours Darkscream whole.
In which I would reference Krampus with the
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
With the
Jack in the Box,
where you see him and his mouth looks normal, but it fucking opens up enough to swallow a fucking kid. Psycho Goreman does the same
Kids
thing.
aren't that big. Sorry. Okay.
That was
on.
a fat kid that he swallowed in the movie. So
he didn't swallow the fat kid. The fat kid got taken up the chimney.
well, the twins, the bigger of the twins. Okay, so. Anyhow, it was one of the kids. But let's get back to it. The concept of the mouth opening up enough to swallow up a whole human or body, not human, but
it was sweet.
Amazing.
Yes.
What a way to go.
A warrior's death.
Apparently.
But he is fucked up at this point.
Yep. Because they were brilliant and they kept his blood to use on their weapons so they could hurt him.
Yep.
So they bring him back to the shoe factory, and he's on the couch just in...
No. They get Mimi and Luke's dad to pick him up with one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, God! So, how did I forget that scene? Oh, my God.
Yeah, where Greg, the father...
this is where I was watching
finishing an argument.
I was watching with Charlotte. This is a scene where Charlotte lost it. Is him sitting on the fucking toilet, and then all of a sudden...
Find me! The face of PG, like it's this tiny little light speck. And it floats in. He's like, what is this? And then it turns into this giant void of PG's face, screaming, find me! While he's still on the toilet, pants around his ankles, screaming.
Or I will destroy you. Like,
Probably.
he's find me, or I will kill you or destroy you. Some, like, find me or I'm going to kill you.
Right.
And almost like someone who keeps calling you over and over again. The dad's like, oh, fuck, what was that? Gets up, message again, fucking find me! Like, and it happens.
And falls into the bathtub now.
So, Psycho Goreman just keeps over and over again.
Well, he keeps asking questions like, where the fuck are you? And he's like, I'm off of the phone at this junction. Where the fuck is that? It's off of Interstate 264.
Yeah, take a right at the... Oh, man, this movie.
Oh, man. Meanwhile,
So eventually, the dad shows up, throws him in the back, which, again...
Can you scoot over for my wagon?
Yeah, that was what I thought was amazing. He is fucking beat to shit. He gets in the back of the truck, and then Mimi's just like, can you scoot over my wagon? Just like he's injured, think he's going to die. Like, yeah, my wagon's got to go in there too, okay? So deal with it, all right?
It stops him from sliding around. It's helpful.
Yeah. All right, so they get him back to the shoe factory, and then Luke, I think, goes back to...
Well, so they go back to the house, and the thing that we have missed in this meantime is that the cop that went back and had his nervous breakdown with the other cops is there when Pandora in her human form shows up to gather intel about an unnamed evil that has come to this world. And the guy that receives her is like, ma'am, you gotta be a little more specific. There's a lot of things fit in that description. And then the other cops are like, John, did you not just listen to everything he just said? And he's like, no, I didn't.
Oh, yeah,
and so
that's so awesome.
She goes to the other cop, and instead of just being like, tell me everything you saw, grabs him by the top of the head and sucks out all of his memories.
Yes.
Now, one thing I forgot that we brushed over is we had brought up how PG acknowledges that Luke is starting to have misgivings towards him. There is a scene where he is sleeping then that night, and Psycho Goreman is able to enter his nightmare, which is amazing because Luke wakes up in this nightmare world that's like pretty much hell with zombie creatures coming out of the ground, and there's Psycho Goreman who's telling him, like, you need to get the gem from her, this will, and pretty much walking this way. And then it's like, okay, well, we talked. What do we do now? And it's like, we just wait out the rest of this nightmare. And so it's just Psycho Goreman standing next to Luke, and they look at each other as it's almost just kind of waiting for the end of the nightmare to play out. And everybody, I'm pretty sure the zombies on the ground, everybody's looking bored at this point because it was supposed to be a very effective 2 minutes of scaring the shit out of you. But it just keeps going on, so they're just kind of looking at each other like, all right, well,
I guess wait till you wake up.
We'll wait till you wake up then, yeah. God damn it.
And I guess one item, like the husband and wife here, Susan and Greg, have a very dysfunctional marriage. Yes. And this definitely plays in. Like, Greg is super lazy and super, like, non-committal. He's basically kind of like the dude.
Yeah.
He's
bad advice at every turn.
She's trying to be the responsible parent, and she's super angry with him for not being a partner in that.
Well, he feels like an achievement is the fact that the TV got destroyed by Psycho Goreman, and he replaced the TV.
Well, he didn't. That's not really something he thought was an achievement. He was just like, yeah, I got a new TV, so you might want to pick up some extra shifts to pay for that.
That's what I'm saying. Is he's like, see, I got the TV. I did my part. Like, and that wasn't something that she needed. But he's like, I should get props on that, right? Because the TV was broken. I went and bought a new TV, so you might have to help pay for the TV I just picked up. The dad's one of my favorite characters in this, by far.
Well, he's great because he's also been in a number of the other Astron 6 properties, but that conflict will come into play here soon.
Yes.
Actually, at this part we're about to describe coming up, because they take PG back home where Pandora is waiting with their mom Susan outside.
Correct.
And that's where, I guess Mimi, Luke, and her dad are in the truck, and... That's where, they see him. Yeah. And Luke is like...
Well, at that point, Pandora is like, that thing is a nameless evil. You need to get away from him. And the mom is like, you need to come inside just for once. Greg, you have to do nothing other than get away from there for the love of God. And Mimi's like, no, don't do it, Dad. And Luke bounces. Luke is like, I'm done. I'm out. And Mimi's like, Dad, don't do it. Dad, don't do it. And so Greg, in an act of defiance of his wife, does the slowest pull out of the driveway and turn and pull out of their neighborhood.
It really was.
In a moment of strife that I've ever seen.
I love her interaction at that point because she's like, look, you don't have to, this is one of the times I'm going to ask you to do nothing. You just have to not do anything. Just get out of the truck. You don't have to do anything. You know, just like talking down to him like a fucking child. Like, don't worry, there's going to be no effort here. And it was a big thing where he's like, then I make a stand. I drive very slowly away. Like,
and I don't even, did he even say anything? I think he just like kind of like backed up.
No,
just
he
looking
said
at her.
something sassy to her.
yeah.
Oh God, what the fuck was it?
I don't remember. But goddamn. Hilarious.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. So now we're back.
No, he said, "How's this for lazy, Susan?" And then he backed out of the driveway slowly.
Yep. That'll teach her.
That's right. I laughed
man.
a little too hard at the lazy Susan joke in there.
But so Cy Goreman, he needs that fucking gem, and he keeps working on Mimi like, you know, I'm gonna fucking die. I am dying. I need this, you know.
Well, at that point was a little serious. He was like, "No, seriously, this is the only way I'm gonna live."
This is the only way I'm gonna live. But you know, I mean, he has talked. If I get my hands on the gem, I will destroy you, your family, all living beings on this planet. There's a little bit of a risk there. Just handing him this fucking gem.
What?
But as she's thinking about it, then we cut back to the house where now, I guess,
Templar Pandora.
yeah, she I need a little backup. So
She enlists the mom.
the mom.
Yeah. Gives her a potion. A drink.
Yeah, so we don't see exactly what happens. We know something's happening. Then we come back to where Mimi has decided, all right.
Well, Greg gives Mimi some really sage advice.
God damn it. Oh,
so
yes.
Greg
Thank
steps
you.
up
Thank
to be
you.
her father.
Oh, God.
And
in a way.
Mimi is really torn about what to do here, whether she should give PG the gem so he lives or keep the gem so they'll be safe. So Greg says, "Excuse me, can I have a moment with my daughter?" And PG's like, because he's dying on a couch.
Yeah.
And so Greg pulls her aside and says, "You know, when I was a kid, I know I'm not the best dad, but let me tell you a story. When I was a kid, there was a guy in a van that pulled up outside my school that asked me if I wanted to see his collection of baseball cards." And I went and said yes. And let me tell you, I had the best day looking at his collection of vintage baseball cards, and if I hadn't taken a chance on that creepy weirdo, I wouldn't have had the coolest day of my childhood. So
What amazing. God, it was...
So I think you should trust your creepy monster friend and give him the gem.
Just, yeah. I love the dad so much. It's such fucking terrible advice. And the way it was going where he's like, you know, there was a man in a creepy van that invited me, and I was like, okay. But he's like, Brett, you know what? And I was like, no, this is terrible advice. What are you doing?
What are you saying?
It was one of the times I was yelling at the screen going, no, you don't ever do that. And it was the greatest vintage collection I'd ever seen. Like, stop, what are you doing? And that's the basis of give this dark lord creature the gem that could murder everybody is.
Right.
Well, the guy in the van seemed cool. Oh.
Take a chance.
So she I guess then is like, okay. She goes to grab the gem. Wait a second. What? No gem.
Not there.
And then right after that, bam. In rolls in
Templar Pandora.
Yep.
Luke and
Templar Mom.
What? Which is awesome because she looks just like, you know,
Pandora.
But with a little bit more coloration.
A little more coloration.
And like she's trying to walk in ski boots for the first time.
Yeah. And her anger is directly towards her husband. Like, where it's like, we need to stop this evil. She's like, Greg, need to explain some stuff, but in like giant evil, like robot form. Like,
fucking awesome.
God damn it.
So good.
Then we get, I guess, the battle royale kind of branch off of certain people fighting other people, which is the mom going after her dad. I guess Luke and Mimi fighting out to try to get the gem.
Right.
Trying to think. Do we have any other ones?
Well, Pandora going after Psycho Goreman, but of course he's wounded.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, there's all that, and then eventually we get to the decision before he can be killed, right?
Right.
She is going to kill him. Like, she's got him in, like, the same tractor beam shit that he does to people.
Yeah.
But he asks for, like, I think it's like a warrior's request or something like that.
A warrior's challenge.
Warrior's challenge.
Something
That's
like that.
A warrior's
yeah.
challenge. And if you are truly the warrior you say you are, you will honor this request. Which, of course, she does.
We all know exactly where this is going.
Oh, he says Mimi should choose the manner of combat.
Yeah, that's
Mimi.
Yeah. We all knew. And again, if you've watched enough 80s kids movies, you know exactly where they're going with this.
It's crazy ball time.
Crazy ball. Like, as soon as it was like, there's a challenge, there's warriors, I was like, we know crazy ball is about to happen.
I'm not even gonna lie. I had my popcorn clutched in my lap, and I was like, do it. Say what I want to hear.
And then you get 3 on one side, 3 on the other, with the crazy balls in the middle. And like, again, this movie just gives 2 shits. It's like, yeah, they're gonna play crazy ball to determine if the universe is safe from Psycho Goreman. Go for it.
That's right. And Pandora doesn't get the rules, and Mimi's like, oh, you should have listened.
Yeah. She's like, I still am questioning the part about no, you should have listened. So Crazy Ball commences, and we get down to, I guess it's like,
well, there's an important move. It's called the switcheroo.
Switcheroo.
You see it in the beginning of the film, and she explains it in the middle. But this is where it really comes into play, because the switcheroo is when 2 balls connect in the air, and then the 2 people that had those balls have to run, and the first one to punch the other one wins all of the other team's points plus 1.
Boom.
Bam.
Basically winning the game.
So, Psycho Goreman's team won, which means...
Well, Mimi and Luke get the switcheroo, and everyone stops, and there's the switcheroo.
The switcheroo.
But, yeah, so that's a thing. And, of course, Mimi punches first, because it's fucking Mimi.
Yeah, and I love how everybody reacts when she punches first. Like, she fucking has it, and, like, even Pandora's like, ooh, like, they're all reacting to the punch.
Damn.
Yeah. Admittedly, she sucks Luke in the stomach really fucking hard.
Well, she's pissed off. Motherfucker stole from her.
I mean, yeah.
He took the side against,
Mimi's a monster.
Yeah,
Mimi
she is.
Like, straight up.
Yeah.
That's why
PG likes her.
Exactly. That's why he agrees to her terms.
That's true.
When it comes to the final fight.
Well, Pandora gets tired of this game bullshit.
Exactly.
And it's just like, I'm just going to fucking murder you.
So now it's an even bout between the two. So
yeah.
Well, now they're starting to gear up for that fight, and Mimi and Luke have a moment where Mimi is just like, I'm not going to say it. And she does the knock apology to Luke, which is quite cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Oh, no. I missed a part. I missed one of the most important parts.
Which?
The singing?
The singing, where she's trying to get Luke to give her the gem so she can give it to PG. And instead of apologizing, she sings their song.
That's right.
She just slowly goes, I'm the heckin' best.
But then it's not just her.
Yeah.
But it's not just her.
Nope.
She gets a little back up.
That's right. Dad joins in.
And that was one, but...
And then PG joins in.
God damn it. And that's why I lost it. Oh.
And Pandora's like, what's happening? And the dad is like, it's love, silly. It's love. Sing along.
All right.
God.
So we get to...
That's right. Now PG has the gem.
Now he has the gem, and he is fucking all powered up, and it's...
ripping fucking body parts out of Pandora to make a goddamn
That was
sword.
crazy. So they start fighting, and he runs by her, rips a body part off, and like he's building, and you can see he's building a sword made out of her to use against her. I was like, holy fucking that's fucking awesome.
Oh my
Holy
God,
shit.
dude.
But also, how is she still alive? How is she
I know.
just like chilling?
Well, she's apparently just didn't need those body parts, I guess, to still fight, but...
I have a lot of questions about the Templars.
I'm
so we can get
surprised
into that
there's
another
something
time.
happens with the magazine at some point.
That's right.
And I know, I think you would like to mention this.
I would like to mention that because Pandora makes a major fuck up, and that's because when PG looks down, he finds that his magazine has been torn up, and so, with a mighty bellow, he screams, "My hunky boys!" and slashes her.
I was like, oh my god. And
I can see where I yelled on the fucking...
I had noticed you had posted on Facebook before I saw the movie a mention about hunky boys.
Oh, yeah.
So not just at the beginning of this movie, but at that scene also, and I was like, okay, I totally get the references now.
Yep. It was just vague enough that I could post it, and if you knew, you fucking knew.
So he fucking fucks her shit up, and wait. She's got to die a warrior's death, right?
But first, she calls him the nameless one. He says, I have a name. It's Psycho Goreman. She says, that's a beautiful name.
And then he gives her a warrior's death.
Yeah.
To which anyone he says, you deserve a warrior's death, they're like, no.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it. Nah.
And everybody who ever witnesses it is also completely disgusted by it.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great.
So after that, the mom turns back to normal, just covered in goo.
Well, Pandora takes her power away from her.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then, so he's won, which is good for PG.
Yeah.
And I guess
the
immediate family member.
And he has the gem, but she makes him make a promise.
Yep.
She already made him make the promise, yeah.
That's right. Already did. Mm-hmm. And he keeps it.
That's right.
Just them, though.
Yeah.
As you think
not only she's like, you won't kill my family, and her dad is like, what about everyone else on Earth? And she's like, oops.
And again, I mean, I already love this fucking movie, but he opens the portal.
You've taught me the dark power of love.
Yeah, and you think he's changed his ways. He's now understands. Well, he understands not to destroy them. But then he opens the portal, and you see him go to somewhere else on Earth.
The town?
No, it's like downtown.
Is it downtown? Yeah, downtown. And then just start fucking shit up. He's like, I'm destroying everything and murdering everybody. And the family's just looking back and going, what a lesson we learned. Like, they just doomed Earth, but they're good. You know?
My God. My face hurts the same way it was when I was watching it, from like laughing so much and just like having this like smile on my face.
Oh.
Like my cheeks literally hurt because it was the perfect ending.
And then,
so good.
And I appreciate in the mid-credit scene, which is we go back to the council, and the kind of squirrely motherfucker who was kind of talking shit, but also kind of voicing the opinion of most of the council, but nobody else will really talk. He's like, he just slams down a revolver and says, all right, well, he says, I think we all know what we need to do now. And fucking slams down a revolver and just looks at everybody. And then...
And no, he goes, so who wants to kill themselves first? And the skull face in the jar slowly raises his hand.
So...
well, then we get the sweet Psycho Goreman rap song.
Oh, yes.
A la, like, Nightmare on Elm Street.
What didn't this movie have?
Yeah.
Honestly.
This is one of those, and I remember after I watched it, I brought it to Murphy, is that the blending of genres is so sharp in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not just blending of genres, but like I said, I feel like the council reminded me a lot of like the Doctor Who universe. And all of Psycho Goreman's like minions reminded me of Power Ranger villains. And like, it's not just like staying this, but just their own little twist on it. And then just that happy-go-lucky 80s kids movie blended with, torture and shit like that.
Oh,
and the director of this, I mean, like, he did, prior to this...
Manborg.
Stephen Costanza.
Well, and even before, like, after Manborg, but the movie right before this was The Void, right?
That's
and
right.
One of the things I love about The Void, and on my other podcast, From the Mouths of Madness, we covered this, but it also has a blend of genres. So he's just really good with that, because in that movie too, it kind of sets you up with kind of multiple ways the movies go. So I just had such appreciation for it. I will say, we've watched two really pretty badass movies back to back now. So we're gonna have to pick out a pretty dog shit movie for our next 3-person panel, because this and Peckerhead, like, I enjoyed the shit out of. So
yeah. No, we got to
I feel like we're getting off a little easier. We need to start watching some of these dog shit movies again.
There's that one I found on Amazon called Butt Boy, where apparently people are being sucked into this dude's ass.
Which is amazing, and I have seen that trailer, and I do want to watch it. However, we have to get out of the 21st century.
Yeah,
okay.
We're getting too lucky with this shit, dude. I mean, like.
So next in the queue, I think I have a perfect 80s movie, which actually just got its first proper release, and I just got it in the mail.
All right.
We'll talk about that sometime soon.
This
also
is
let you know how bad Channels goes.
But I would just throw it out there. This is one of those beautiful disasters that I put in the same category as Mom and Dad, and
absolutely,
you know,
Cheap Thrills too.
Yeah, Cheap Thrills, where
that was the last
it's off. It's not your mainstream movie.
Nope.
Like, goddamn, it's so good. You know,
it knows exactly what it is and doesn't pretend to be anything else. It goes full force into this.
But it also does it so deftly and so much better than a lot of genre movies that we would normally watch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And front to back, it is such a blast. Like a movie that can have an interstitial scene that has really no bearing on the plot, where you have a brain boy, Alistair, sitting at the dining room table with two parents completely ignoring him and ignoring the fact that he's a brain.
Yeah.
They call him for dinner, so they can totally ignore him.
I mean,
but they're at the table and he's there, and they're just like not acknowledging this giant brain instead of their child
that is eating dinner at the table, trying to anyway, with his weird tentacle appendages, and they're just completely zoned out of life. Don't care. Like that little scene that was maybe like 45 seconds was didn't need to be in a movie, but it was so fucking funny to me.
So
God damn it.
I guess before we wrap this up, we want to double feature this.
I already said mine.
Well,
Monster Squad all the way.
Okay.
That's a solid pick. What about you?
Man, this is a tough one because it's just a blending of. I think I just kind of have appreciation for the director, and I mean, I brought up how he did The Void, but I think I'd go with one that we've already covered of another movie of his, Manborg, and watch Manborg, which again
Manborg.
it has so much fun. It doesn't take itself seriously. It has fun with it, you know, the makeup, practical effects.
Yep.
I'd throw that out there. I'll probably watch that with this. So
Fuck yes.
I already watched Manborg once. I don't need to watch it again. If they make BioCop, I'll rewatch that. But I think this is supposed to be good. So I'm actually going to go a little bit of a different route with my double feature, and that's because I think one of the things that I liked about this is that, with the exception of the buckets of blood and some things that you would have to explain to a kid like the cop trying to kill himself, I think this is one of those like bridge into horror films, like sort of like Monster Squad. But I'm gonna go a different route with this and say that I would pair this with The Secret of Nim.
wow.
Wow.
Because as far as films geared towards children go, The Secret of Nim is very dark. A lot of things get murdered. They drop a fucking brick on one of the elders of this of the society. There's genetic experimentation on creatures. The discussion of dead parents openly. One of the kids is sick with pneumonia. It's a heavy ass kids movie, and there's a significant amount of blood for an animated film that was marketed towards kids.
I gotta say my runner up to this, and the only reason I didn't go with it was the fact that it really was a super dark movie, but it was based on being a kids concept movie, was Meet the Feebles.
I've never seen that.
Oh, sweet.
That's a sound.
That's
a sound.
That's a early Peter Jackson movie when he didn't give two fucks.
That I've heard.
That was a movie when I had my first job at Hollywood Video when I was like 15 fucking years
Way
old.
to name drop.
And I had to wear a red cummerbund and a red tie as my uniform. And, you know, some asshole, like, parent would be being pompous and, you know, treating me like shit and asking for a recommendation for their kid. That was the one I recommended.
R2 was sweetheart.
That VHS off the wall.
By the way,
because I didn't give a fuck.
I was thinking of what 80s movie is this closest to in resembling this, and I've been struggling with this, and I just thought about it.
What is it?
There's a Fred Savage, Howie Mandel movie called Little Monster.
Oh, dude!
That actually is referenced in some of the interviews I watched.
And honestly, I kept struggling. I was thinking, I just realized, yes, That's where it's Fred Savage and like Hallandale as this fucking monster who, you know.
I fucking love that movie so much.
Yeah, and
That's a really solid pick.
I kind of surprised nobody brought it up.
Sandwich this, so I would sandwich PG in the middle of Little Monsters and Nightbreed if I was going to do it that way.
Yes.
All
right.
Yes.
One of the other things that I read that I really appreciate is, number one, the director Stephen Kostansky mentioned that he was inspired to write this movie while watching Rawhead Rex, and I can see how that would play in.
I love that. That movie is so cheesy as fuck.
And
I love Clive Barker shit, but damn.
Right, but everybody's got their cheese. And that story, while it is aggressive, translating it, as far as I remember, that monster looked like a giant penis with teeth. Not quite in the Chillerama sort of way.
It was not the best effects ever.
But before we digress too much into ripping on Rawhead Rex, he was asked, because he has done a lot in the realm of horror, so he was asked like what he would tackle if given the choice, because he's already done like Leprechaun Returns, but he mentioned the Phantasm series. Ooh. And I think that would be, number one, really cool to pair with this because of the blend of like sci-fi and horror and just utter fucking weirdness. But I would really like to see him tackle something in the Phantasm universe because I think he's well suited for it.
I'm just curious if I need to watch the Leprechaun movie now since I've enjoyed most of his other properties. I mean, shit.
I'll give it a go at least once, man.
I mean,
shit.
It could go either way.
All right, let's wrap this motherfucker up. Yeah, this has been a long episode.
Sorry.
We got excited. We went on a few tangents.
I love the fact that all of our longest episodes have Murphy on them.
I'm sorry.
It's
We're either
okay.
fucking with them or just weird tangents that happen because
No,
of
I
them.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's my favorite.
I love you guys.
So anyhow, this podcast is available in most of the podcast streaming sites. You can also check out all the great quality, high quality podcasts at www.guipodcast.com.
Check out Beautiful Disasters Podcast on Facebook. We've got a bunch of shit going on. Whenever the fuck this goddamn pandemic ends, we're going to get fucking screenings going on again. Like, we're going to have all the things.
As always, give us input. You know, if there's something you want to suggest we do, let us know.
And in the meantime, you can support the podcast and somebody the fuck else by buying GUI podcast merch, because you can get a Beautiful Disaster shirt, you can get something for like any of the other podcasts on the network, and all of the money currently that's purchased from the GUI network is going to the it's the fund to help restaurants in Richmond. People.
Yes,
it's I can't
Holly
remember.
Fund.
Holly Fund. Thank
Holly
you.
Fund.
And
Yep.
if you decide to purchase a mask from TeePublic with like say the Beautiful Disasters logo on it or the GUI logo on it, TeePublic is donating a N95 quality mask.
I'm glad you said it. I knew it was a fancy mask, but I didn't know the specific.
To the hospitals and the people that are actually on the front lines trying to, quench this pandemic so we can all actually live lives again.
Yeah. Yes.
But I'm just saying that, like, that Beautiful Disaster shirt, I bought it because of fucking course I did. It's so fucking comfortable, y'all. Like, I cut the sleeves off of it. My titties stay in it. It cushions them. Just do it. Just buy a Beautiful Disaster shirt.
It is a soft shirt.
Yeah.
The TeePublic shirts are soft.
And if they fuck up, if for some reason it doesn't look right, email TeePublic and they'll send you another one.
Yep.
Goddamn right. Yeah, but definitely check out all the GUI podcast shows. There's fucking 11?
Yep.
Jesus Christ, something.
Goddamn. All right, so thank you so much for listening. I am the Grutz.
F.U. Hunter.
Murphy!
Thank you.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm F.U. Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
embrace the madness.
In a world ravaged by movie studios that keep rehashing the same things, only one podcaster has the guts to make it even worse. Join Mike the Hobbit as he traverses the internet to bring you some of the best and worst ideas for reboots, remakes, and reimaginings of some of your favorite and least favorite TV and film properties. Ideas like a John Waters He-Man movie, Fantastic Four the musical, and Aliens, done entirely with marionettes. What podcast would bring this evil upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.
GUIPodcast.com